everyone, welcome to Model Behavior. My name is Jessa Blackthorne. Thank you so much for tuning in on this beautiful Wednesday. I hope you're having a wonderful day. We have a great show for you today, as always, but before we get started, just a couple of quick reminders. This is the WizKids RPG Showcase. That means that this show is going to be focused on WizKids RPG products. Now, unfortunately, what that means is that I won't be able to answer any of your questions about our other product lines. So HeroClix, Dice Masters, Attack Wing, board games, anything like that, I'm not really able to answer those questions on this show. I should also mention that the show is pre-recorded, so if you do have questions about our RPG products, you can ask those in the chat. I'm hanging out in the chat answering questions. I won't be able to answer your questions verbally, but I will answer your questions in the chat. But if you have questions about products that are not RPG products, the best place to get that information is to go to WizKids social media, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, or WizKids.com. Those are all great places to get the most up-to-date information about what's coming from WizKids. So definitely check those places out. If you would like to follow me on social media, you can follow me at @the_Blackthorne on Instagram and Twitter, and Jessa Blackthorne on Facebook. You might notice my hair looks a little odd today. I'm actually in the middle of working on a play where it requires me to have gray hair, so some of the stuff is kind of still in my hair. It's a little bit hard to wash out, so but you can see all of my acting endeavors and all that information on my social media pages, so please feel free to check that out. I would love to have a follow from you. But without any further ado, we are going to jump into today's episode. And what we are doing today is really cool. We're going to be unboxing the miniatures from the next wave of the WizKids Magic the Gathering Unpainted Miniatures set. Now, this is, we released some unpainted Magic the Gathering miniatures last year. There were some really great figures. I didn't feature them on this show just because I didn't really fit into the schedule, but they are great. But now we have a whole new set of Magic the Gathering unpainted miniatures that I am showing off today, and I'm really excited about some of them, and you'll find out why during the show. But I cannot wait to get started, so we are going to go over to the top-down overlay here, and we will get started on this amazing unboxing. So let's just jump over here, and we are going to get started with the Zurgo Helmsmasher and the Unyielding Krumar. So this is the first figure I'm going to unbox from the Magic the Gathering Unpainted Miniature set. So this whole set, I will mention, is coming out February 23rd of this year. So in about a month, a little less than a month. So that's really exciting. A month as of last Sunday. So these are coming very soon. The release date has been announced. And they're at a variety of price points. So as we're going, I'll kind of tell you the price point for each one. Just so you kind of have a good sense of what you're going to be paying for each of these. So, this first set, it's two figures in one. It's the Zurgo Helmsmasher and the Unyielding Krumar. Now, if you're familiar with Magic the Gathering, you know that both of these characters are on cards from the Khans of Tarkir set. And they're actually pretty unique in that I think they are the only ones that are not from any of the Innistrad sets. So that's really interesting to think about. So I wanted to start with these because everything else kind of goes together as Innistrad sets, but this one is a little bit different. And that's okay. We like different. We like unique, we like exciting, and I'm very excited about this. Just as excited as I am about all of the Innistrad figures. So, as you can see, this is what the packaging looks like. It is the standard blister that we use for most of our unpainted miniatures. This set is this pack is $8.99, and it comes with two figures. So that is what the renders look like. So they did a really nice job, I think, of kind of replicating the characters that were on the cards and bringing them to life as these figures, which I find really cool. Alright, and so let's go ahead and open these up. So I'm just gonna pull this back here for 1 second so I can get it open, and then we will bring it back to the table for you. So, and all of these figures, like our other unpainted miniatures, come out of the box primed and paint ready. So the figures come like this. So this is the Zurgo Helmsmasher. And they come like this, so they come off the base. The packs do come with clear bases for you to glue the figures onto, which I'm going to do as we're going. I recommend using super glue for these. Plastic cement does not work on them. So definitely use super glue. You can really see the detail, and these are going to be really fun to paint, I think, especially with all the different textures going on. So we have that, and then over here we have the Unyielding Krumar. And again, lots of different textures. I especially like the way they did his pants, just because you can kind of see the movement in the fabric, and I really like that. I think that's really cool and really well done. So I'm just going to bring that a little bit closer. As always, I apologize for the shakiness of my hands. I am waiting on that paint handle to come in. As soon as it comes in, you bet we're going to be using it. And that will make these a lot more clean. But you can also see that's what the sword just looks like right out of the packaging. Now, of course, the sword is slightly curved on the card. If you actually look at the card in Magic, you'll see that the sword does have this slight curve to it. If you wanted to straighten it out, though, you could use something like a heat gun or a hairdryer, or you could use boiling water and steam just to kind of straighten it out. But I kind of like this the way it is. So, and these, like I said, come with, these are just basic clear plastic bases, and you can glue them right onto those bases. I am going to do that right now. So I have my little bottle of super glue. You can use, but there's a lot of different kinds of super glue you can use for these. I like this one just because I have fake nails a lot of the time, and because I have fake nails a lot, I have like 100 of these little bottles of nail glue floating around my house, and so it's just more convenient to use this. It's not going to do anything damaging to your minis. It's not going to mess anything up. The only difference between this kind of glue and like actual liquid, like water super glue like this, is that the super glue or regular super glue doesn't have moisturizing agents in it, whereas nail glues tend to have moisturizing agents, which are good for your nails and don't really affect your minis. So they work fabulously and they dry super quick. I love it. So we took care of those two. So again, that pack is $8.99 and it comes with those two figures. That's the first pack, both from Khans of Tarkir. So next we're going to continue on, and we're going to go with the next duo here, and this is from Innistrad. I believe this is, I want to triple check, but I think it's Shadows over Innistrad. Is it Shadows over Innistrad? Am I wrong? Shadows over Innistrad, I was right. So I actually, Innistrad was, I started playing Magic around 2012, and Innistrad was the first, like, set that the first block that I really spent a lot of money on. This is, of course, Shadows over Innistrad is not part of the first Innistrad block, which is what I not learned Magic, but what I played a lot of when I started out with Magic. But Innistrad has a special place in my heart as a result, so anytime there's an Innistrad set, anything like that, I always really get very excited, and so I'm very happy to see Innistrad getting some love in these unpainted miniatures. So this is the Thraben Inspector and Tireless Tracker. Now, the Thraben Inspector has appeared in a lot of sets, and a lot of, like, special, like, you know, like Time Spiral Remastered and some Commander sets, but prominently it has appeared in Shadows over Innistrad, and then the Tireless Tracker is also from Shadows over Innistrad, and again, they really went out of their way to make these figures resemble the card, and it's actually really amazing. Like, if you compare these right next to the card, it's amazing how right they got it and how well they did to get these to match the art on the cards. So that's the renders. This is another pack that is $8.99, so you can... Oh, wait, I'm sorry. This one's $4.99. Whoops. So these are, because I guess their figures are a little bit smaller, these are $4.99. And it comes with these two, so let's go ahead and open those up, and we'll look at the figures inside. Alright, So we've got our two little, these are the two little bases. And then we have, starting with the Tireless tracker. Alright, so you can see there, again, this really resembles the card art. They did a beautiful job of replicating it. And there's so much character in this pose. The pose is just really exciting and really dynamic, and I really like that about this figure, and about a lot of these figures. And again, the swords here are super straight, so you shouldn't need to correct them, at least for mine. But sometimes, you know, it happens during shipping. It's not anything anyone can, like, guarantee preventing. So if you do find your swords come slightly curved, like I said, heat gun, hairdryer, steam, anything like that will help straighten out the plastic. And these are pre-primed, so they're ready to paint. Maybe we'll do Magic the Gathering Paint Day sometime soon. And then we have the Thraben Inspector. I think it's Thraben. It might be Thraben. I haven't played Magic the Gathering, like, seriously in a couple years, so I do not know the pronunciation for this. But like I said, the Innistrad block means so much to me and is such a special place in my heart that I'm very excited about these figures. You can see the figure is even kind of replicating the, I think it's a plant that she's holding in the card art. I'm not exactly sure, but in the card art, the character is holding something, and that this figure actually replicates that aspect too. So they really went into the details of the cards, and I really like that. I really appreciate it. So let's go ahead and glue these to their bases. Now, there's like two schools of thought on whether you should put the glue on the figure or on the base first. I generally prefer putting the figure just directly, or the glue directly onto the figure and then onto the base, because I feel like I have more control over the placement of it. But your mileage may vary, and you should do what makes you happy. Alright, so we're going to put that down there, and then we will go ahead and glue this. Alright, there we go. And so that will go right there. And so again, it's a 2-pack of figures, $4.99, so it's a great price point for those 2 figures, and there's so much detail in this sculpting. Like, $4.99 is an awesome price for such well-done figures. So next up we have Arlinn and Tovalar, another pair of cards from Innistrad. Again, I believe that this is from Shadows of Innistrad, or Shadows over Innistrad. But Arlinn is a werewolf in Innistrad. I don't know. I guess that's not a spoiler because the card's double-sided. So, it's, oh, well, Arlinn, okay, let me go back. Arlinn is a planeswalker who turns into a werewolf. The original Innistrad introduced this mechanic where the cards would flip for, like, day and night. So Arlinn kind of used that mechanic as on a planeswalker, which they had some planeswalkers like that before with the first Innistrad set. Arlinn was introduced in Shadows over Innistrad, but it's one of the more unique planeswalkers because it's a transforming card. So we're going to go ahead, look at the renders. Now, the figures are inspired by the werewolf form of Arlinn. So I think that's pretty cool. I like that they did that. We talked a little bit about planeswalkers last week, and so I am really happy to see that they went with these kind of beast characters. And then of course we have Tovolar, who is also a werewolf character, also a very important creature. It's another double-sided card that flips. Tovolar is a legendary creature, so not quite a planeswalker, but still very powerful. And also from the world of Innistrad. So we're going to open this up. So first we have, this is Arlinn Cord. So now here, what's interesting about this pack, this is an $8.99 pack, and what's interesting is that these are two of the, like, theoretically they're two of the same creature in that they are both werewolves, but the sculpts and the way these are characterized in these designs are very unique, and I think that's a really challenging thing to do, and I think the sculptors did a really nice job of being able to make each of them unique, and I really appreciate that, and how these really do feel like two separate characters. So, like I said, this is $8.99. This is Arlinn Cord. You can really see the fur texture, it's really nice. And then we have Tovolar, who is kind of here kind of almost feels half man, half beast in the way that they sculpted this. You can kind of see his abdominal muscles, and that really makes the figure, I mean, I guess he is half man, half beast, but he really just, he feels so different from Arlinn Cord. I mean, not just in size, but just in the, like, the way they've done the face and the posture and just everything. And of course, they're replicating the cards here, but they really did a nice job of making these feel distinct, and I really appreciate that. We have this amazing sword. We have, again, you can see the texture on this cape, the unfinished edges here. Just really, really nicely done. Really fabulous. So let's go ahead and glue these to their bases. So I'm going to start with Tovolar. We're just going to go ahead and put the base right on. This is, you shouldn't put the base on upside down like this. I'm only doing that because it's a little bit easier for the camera and the angle at which everything's kind of laid out on my desk right now. It just makes it a little easier to put the base on upside down. Normally I would recommend placing it, you can't really see my hands, placing it onto the base instead of going from the top down. Alright, and I'm not going to do that way. That's a terrible idea. So, now again, figure has the glue on it, so you can just go right here. I do not recommend doing it that way, but you can. It's just easier to see on camera. Alright, so that is Arlinn Cord and Tovolar. Now we are going to move into the larger figures in this set, and we are going to start with Wrenn and Seven. Wrenn and Seven are also from one of the Innistrad sets. They are from Innistrad Midnight Hunt. And so this pack, this figure pack, which is, I think, just one figure. No, I'll come back, Tovolar. Yeah, so this is just one larger figure, and it's $14.99. And really amazing, amazing sculpting on this. Like, it's incredible. So, Wrenn and Seven is a Planeswalker card, and a legendary Planeswalker, which is intense. Alright, and I didn't show you the render. Sorry. I got too excited to open this figure because it's so cool looking. But check this render out. The render is amazing. The cool thing about this one is that the Planeswalker card is, everything's kind of cropped in a not in a bad way, but just in a way where, like, they kind of had to, I guess at the rest of the detail and, like, what they would put where. And so they really did a nice job with taking the art that they did have on the card and expanding it into a full-size figure. And this is just really beautiful. So let's go ahead and open this. For real this time. Now, of course, because this is a larger figure, it does come with a larger base. And because it is a larger figure, it has this plastic piece around its waist that you have to cut. So I'm going to go ahead and remove it with my box cutter, my trusty box cutter, which I should not put that close to my face, so don't do that. But you can just gently and carefully just cut it. I'm going to just... Or I slice off my fingers. I shouldn't say that. There we go. So it just comes right up. I recommend removing it from the back, so just pull on one side of the plastic, and then that way you can go in with your scissor or your box cutter. I would normally do this with a scissor, but the box cutter was closer at hand. So this figure is so cool. Alright, so this is Wrenn 7. Wrenn 7 is a legendary green planeswalker with a lot of cool stuff going on. And they really translated this so nicely to a figure. What's really cool is these lanterns. It's hard to see in the camera, but the lanterns are actually slightly translucent. So you'd be able to really have some fun with painting these and doing some really cool stuff with the way you paint them. And I think that this one really offers a lot of opportunity to have fun with it. So, and this is what the back of the figure looks like. Just so nice. I cannot wait to paint this. It is so cool looking. I am very excited to get this painted and have some fun. If you would like to see maybe us do a paint stream for this figure, just for fun, you know, let me know. You can comment here. You can tag me and WizKids on Twitter, and I would love to paint this figure up for you guys on a stream. Bearing in mind, I am not a professional painter. I am someone who likes to paint. Even if I don't do so good a job with it, I have a lot of fun doing it. And I would love to paint this for you. So we are going to go ahead and glue this to the base. Now, of course, this is a larger figure, so it's going to use a lot more glue. So we're just going to go ahead. And I like to, one of the other nice things about these nail glues is you can kind of dot the glue on like this, because of the little dropper bottle. And then that way you don't feel like you're using a really crazy amount of glue. Alright, so I'm just going to leave that like that. You didn't see me put it down and then pick it right back up. So that's going to dry. I'm not sure if the nail glue will work as well on this, but we're going to find out. If it doesn't, we will use a gel super glue, which I will have to use off stream because I don't have gel super glue at the house right now, but I will do that and I will share with you all if it works. So now, the next one of my favorite Magic the Gathering characters of all time. Okay, so before we get into this, because I'm so excited, so like I said, the first Magic the Gathering kind of block I seriously played with was Innistrad. So, and one of the sets from the Innistrad block was Avacyn Restored. And I remember when Avacyn was first debuted, the first pieces of art came out for Avacyn. I was actually one of the first people ever to cosplay Avacyn. I have an 8-foot tall Moonsilver spear in my house, and I love Avacyn so much. So I will post pictures of that on my Twitter. You can check my Twitter to find that out, to see the pictures of that. Maybe I'll take some selfies with the spear. But so our next figure that we have is, in fact, Archangel Avacyn. And when I heard that we were making this, I like screeched in our office. It was really embarrassing because I just love Avacyn so much. Avacyn is one of my favorite Magic the Gathering characters ever. And I have a Archangel Avacyn. I actually made an Avacyn inspired deck for when I cosplay Avacyn that I take to conventions, and like anyone who wants to play Magic with me, I play the Avacyn deck, and it's really pretty strong deck, but it's way out of date now. This was when Innistrad was still in Standard, and the Innistrad block was still legal in Standard, so it's a bit out of date now, but I was so proud of it at the time. But, okay, So my point here is that I really love Avacyn, and I love what they've done with this figure. God, the detail on this is great. So, I'm going to show you all what the thing looks like. And I remember one of the biggest arguments I used to have with people is whether her skirt was black or green. So, as you can see in this render, everyone who doubted me, her skirt is green. I got into, like, so many fights because people was like, no, it's black. It is dark green, and you can see it here officially in this render that her skirt was green. But also remember, this was a time when there was only one, maybe two pieces of art around for Avacyn. So people were kind of just speculating on what she would look like, and, you know, we only had a couple things. It was really the Avacyn Angel of Hope art was the only art that was out there. So I don't blame anyone, I just feel very vindicated that the skirt is in fact green. But let's go ahead and unbox this figure, because I could go on all day about Avacyn, and I am very excited to see this figure in this set, because Avacyn is a queen, and we love her, and I love her. So Avacyn has a smaller base than Wrenn and 7, just being aware of this. And so she also has the little plastic, so I'm actually show you. I found my scissors. I glanced over and they were not where I thought they were, so that's good. So you can just pull the plastic on here and actually just cut like that, and that will cut the little piece of plastic off that holds the figure in place in the packaging. So let's look at the Avacyn figure. I am so excited. So this is what the Avacyn figure looks like. Of course, it's prime, just as all the other figures are. This really captures the detail of her costume. Now, being a cosplayer, like I said, being kind of one of the first people to really cosplay Avacyn, and really looking at all of the detail and spending hours studying it, I know it pretty well. And they really captured every single thing, and I really love that. So you can see, like, the texture on her boots is there, and including the little split here down the front. And how it's actually a two-piece boot, so it goes to her knee and then it goes up to her thigh, and they caught that. They got the heels correct. I mean, of course they got it correct. I'm just excited. I'm now nerding out about the Avacyn figure. So thank you for joining me in my nerding out about Avacyn. The bodice on her costume outfit is also correct, in that the armor is really well done and accurate. They got the little kind of filigree thing going on in the upper area of it. And then, of course, we cannot forget to talk about the Moonsilver Spear. It is accurate. It is really, really a really nice recreation of the Moonsilver Spear. It even has the detail of it being slightly asymmetrical, which is something that a lot of people don't catch or realize. So that's also really nice. You have the wings and the way they have those tiers on them. You know, they didn't just put any old wings on her. They actually got the wings similar to how they are on the card. What's interesting about this is, even though the figure is called Archangel Avacyn, the pose is inspired by, I think it is Avacyn Angel of Hope. I think this is the pose from Avacyn Angel of Hope, which you'd think would be something I would know in my sleep at this point. But there have been several Avacyn cards now, so I'm just double checking, but I'm almost positive it is. Oh, there's a new Avacyn Angel of Hope. I did not know that. Well, I'm almost 100% certain that this is the art from Avacyn Angel of Hope. Yes, it is. Okay, I found it. Yes. So I love that they kind of took the different pose, because I really like this pose. It's really dynamic. It's really interesting. Really just a really nice job on this figure. You can see the back here. You can see the translucent base holding her up. They even got the back of this. Look at that. That's so well done. Oh, I love it. Maybe I'll paint this on stream in my full Avacyn getup. That'll be fun. That would be so much fun. Alright, So I have glued Avacyn to her base, so she is gonna dry, and we are, I think I mentioned that the figure is $14.99 for Avacyn, and we are gonna move on to the very last figure in this set, also the most expensive figure in this set, and that is the Blightsteel Colossus, which doesn't really fit on my desk. The Blightsteel Colossus, which is, and the only other figure in this set that's not actually from Innistrad. The Blightsteel Colossus is from Mirrodin Besieged. So you have, I think just Mirrodin Besieged. Yeah, just Mirrodin Besieged. So this is a really cool, really detailed figure. I'm going to use the side of the box for the render. Hang on, let me just actually move these over so that I can fit everything in the frame, so, or at least fit the render better in the frame. So that is the render of this figure. Actually, there's a smaller render on the back of the box, so you can kind of see. So that's what the render looks like. The render does look kind of a little bit dark, just because of the way it's supposed to be painted in that really nice dark navy blue. But the figure, of course, is unpainted, so you'll really be able to see all the details when I take it out of the packaging. This figure, I believe I mentioned it, is $59.99, so it is more expensive than the other figures in the set, but well worth it. So I'm just gonna, and of course it is in somewhat different packaging than the others. I also really like the background on this packaging. There's something about, I mean, it's the Magic the Gathering background, but there's something about the way it sits against the background that just makes it pop, and I really think that's cool. So we're going to go ahead and take this out, and I believe, yep, he has another one of those, we're going to call them plastic seat belts. I don't know what they're actually called. I'm sure there's a term for them, but I'm calling them plastic seat belts. So I'm just going to go ahead and cut him out of his plastic seatbelt using my Jaws of Life, aka my scissors. I might have to use the box cutter for this one, actually. Let me see if I can do it from the front. So it is a very large figure. Alright, so we're going to use the box cutter to get him out. The scissors are just a little too large to actually get in there. So I'm going to go right... No? Alright, we're going to do this. We're going to figure it out together. So we're going to... just kind of... You should always go away from your hands with the box cutter. Don't be me and go towards your hands. There you go. Alright, we got it. So, this is the Blightsteel Colossus figure, which I just realized I put the base on the floor, so I'm gonna let y'all look at that while I grab the base out of here. Did I drop it? Okay, I dropped the base somewhere. And maybe it doesn't come with a base. I will check that, and you will know in the comments of this show when it's airing live. I will mention it. I will also mention it on my Twitter so you know. But this is the Blightsteel Colossus. There is so much detail here. This is so cool. You have that Phyrexian symbol right here, which is awesome, and really a nice detail. You have kind of all of the little details here, and then these are actually semi-translucent as well, and they kind of spiral around to create all these really cool magical effects. So this is just a really, really detailed figure. There's so much going on with this. So you have, I'm just going to kind of give you a little tour of the different parts to see. You have like the claw, and then you have over here his shoulder armor, and then his back and arms. Just overall, just so well done. And then the base of the figure itself has this kind of stone-looking texture. And then up here, just overall, just really nicely done. So this figure is $59.99. It is larger than all the other figures, which is why it is $59.99. But there's so much detail here in the different types of plastic and the translucent parts. So worth that price. Really nicely done. So with that, we have the entire Magic the Gathering Unpainted Miniatures set. You have 5 individual items in this set, which is, of course, 3 figure pairs, 3 packs of 2 figures, I should say. 2 large figures, and then, of course, the very large, I'm not sure what the actual technical size is, but the, I think it's colossal, the colossal Blightsteel Colossus. Just such a great set, so much variety, especially if you are an Innistrad fan, especially like me, you're gonna love this set. Really, WizKids has done a stunning job. I'm just gonna kind of show you each of them one at a time once more. So this is Wrenn and 7, and it is $14.99. Alright, this is Arlinn Cord, part of the Arlinn Cord and Tovolar set, which is $8.99. Then we have the Zurgo Helmsmasher and Unyielding Krumar set, which is also $8.99. We have the Thraben Inspector and the Tireless Tracker, which is a $4.99 set. My girl Avacyn, Archangel Avacyn, which is also $14.99. And then the Blightsteel Colossus, which is $59.99. All of these figures that you saw today are coming out February 23rd, 2022, so that's a little less than a month from now, and goodness, they are amazing. But with that, thank you so much for tuning in. I hope you love these figures just as much as I do. I am so excited about this. Look at Avacyn. I am so excited, guys. I cannot wait for this set to come out. I hope that you have a wonderful day. I can't wait to get these painted up. I hope you stay safe, you stay healthy. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you have any questions, feel free to follow me on social media. I am at @the_Blackthorne on Twitter and Instagram, and Jessa Blackthorne on Facebook. Or you can also ask WizKids Games on Twitter and Instagram, or WizKids on Facebook, or WizKids.com. With that, I appreciate you so much. Stay safe. Stay healthy. I love you. WizKids loves you. Avacyn loves you. Have a great day, everyone. Bye!